Hey friends, how's it going? I have gotten a little bit of work done. I told you in that last garden tour video that I was going to get some things accomplished. My son is looking to earn extra money to try and buy himself some kind of technology thing that, let's be honest, I really don't understand. But I needed a garden helper. So yesterday he helped me out. I'm gonna show you what I did back there. First, I'm gonna insert a picture here of what that looked like before we started. Insert picture now. So here we go now. Let me tell you kind of what we did. The first thing I did is I went in here and found all the different branches of this center cut squash, and I started giving them a place to go. I wanted them to go up onto here and then down across here. This one, when it gets a little bit longer, I will tie up as well. All of those are going up here. Then I went over here, and these are the sugar pie pumpkins that are back there. I brought them up and tied them up to here, so they'll take over the back part of this pergola. So all of this will continue to grow up instead of down. So now this is all wood chipped with that pile of wood chips that my husband was begging me to get rid of. I've got another strand of that center cut squash that's going to go this way up that string. I've got one there that's going to go up the back. And then my son came in and trimmed all these vines up for me. I cleaned up all the bottoms of the kale. And then look at this. I'm really excited about this. Remember when I stole this out of the fire? I was going to put it right here. This worked really good. I came here, I tied up these volunteer tomatoes, and I did go ahead and trim the bottom branches. I'm not going to worry about trimming them too much because these are just going to be volunteer tomatoes. They're bonus tomatoes. But this one is a fairly full-size tomato, and this one next to it is very obviously a cherry tomato. So I'm excited to see what I get off of that. And then I've got my herbs that I kept here. So this is looking phenomenal. I'm really glad. It was totally worth the 20 bucks I paid my kid to help me for the afternoon. So this section is all done. We'll move on to this another day, but that was a really, really good, productive afternoon yesterday. Thing number 2 that I got done yesterday is I tied up all these tomatoes. If you remember, these tomatoes were all falling over into the bottom of here. I went through and tied them all up. Sorry, I don't really know how to make this look. You know what? I'm gonna flip this around. Hang on a second. Okay, I went through and tied all these up, all the ones that were falling over, tied them way up. I pulled a bunch of the calendula. I left this front row of flowers, but anything that was behind that front row, I went and pulled to make better airflow back there. That will help with diseases on those tomatoes. You can see the tomatoes a lot better now. They're looking good. Look at these guys, the striped guys. If I had to guess, I'd guess that's the pineapple tomato. Note to self, next year, put the tags out. I keep thinking I'm gonna go back in an old video and watch and see what they are. Those ones are cat face. See the bottoms, how those bottoms are all together? That means there was more than one blossom fused together. And that's gonna be a funky looking tomato. It'll still be good, but I'll have to cut the bottom off of it. Yeah, so these look much, much better airflow. You can see all the more space in there. It's looking way less crazy. So that was a good job done. Quick stop here on the drying rack. These are all the calendulas. Right now I've got them outside. They're next to my house. There's an overhang right there. So this stays fairly dry. I'm gonna let them dry outside. If it's taken a long time, I can put them in the dehydrator, but I would rather let them stay out here. These will be going into salves. Calendula is very good for skincare, for sensitive skin. My daughter's got very sensitive skin, so I'm gonna try and make salves, maybe some lotions, and if I'm really ambitious, I'm gonna try lip balm this year. And behind me, this is the big thing I did yesterday. Can you see? Lots of room in there. Let me turn you around and show you what I did. So the first thing I came in here and did was clear out any of this calendula that was beyond the first row. So there was tons and tons of calendula encircling these pepper plants. So you can see these ones have flowers, teeny tiny baby peppers, but they were behind the ones further down because they were getting choked out by the calendula and by these zucchini and summer squash plants. So I took all of that calendula out and fed it to the chickens, who were very thankful. And then I came in here and I cut the squash. Let me show you how I do my squash. So this is the main stem of the squash. There's 3 of them right here because I forgot to thin them. Anything below setting fruit you can cut, just like you do a tomato. So these bottom ones were all starting to turn yellow. I cut those. So all these bottom ones are cut, and any leaf that starts to go yellow, I will cut off. This is how you can vertically train them if you don't have enough room. You could tie this big main stem to a stabilizer, whether a post, a T-post, or a wooden dowel, or even a tomato cage. It'll stand up more straight. I don't mind if it falls over like this, that's okay. But I did clean all the bottom leaves out of this one, which is the Polish zucchini, and out of these ones. And these are actually the yellow squash called Slick Pick. So I did do that. And then I came through and pulled some weeds. Let's check on these beans. Got lots of little skinny beans. I'm gonna give them just a couple more days, and then I'm gonna come out and harvest beans. So you can see right here, as I cleaned up those squash and this calendula, it left lots of room for all these peppers. These are shishitos, and they are actually the peppers we like the most. I want them to get better pollination, so I have to open them up to get better access for the pollinators and to produce peppers. Hey, that's a King of the North. Nice. See, I labeled my peppers really, really good. Next year, I have to do that with my tomatoes too. Yep. And then I took all of my more winter squash varieties that are sprawling more. Summer squash varieties tend to have a main stem and they shoot off of that and they kind of like make one big plant like this. Whereas the winter squash tends to sprawl and get long and viney. So this one right here is a spaghetti squash. You can see 2 of them right there. And I just found every branch of that and tied it with jute string to this ladder. So as this grows, I will keep just winding it around the ladder. Girls, be quiet. And then over here, the other one I have in the garden that was sprawling was this honey nut squash. There's one there. There's one getting started. And this one was really going over into the beans and taking over the beans. So I've got this one on this ladder here, and I will continue to train this up and around here. The only other squash that I have going right now is this one. This is the Cocozal zucchini. And I did come in and trim some of the bottom branches, but it seems to have enough room and the leaves all look healthy, so I'm leaving it that way. So all these peppers have a lot more lease on life. They've got a lot more room. I got those out of the way. I trimmed the other squash. I got rid of this calendula. So quite a bit of progress made. That's a watermelon that I'm probably going to have to move to a ladder as well, or some other kind of trellis. But it will start filling in this empty space. I might let it go backwards because back in the corner there is where that crazy seeding Swiss chard is and those cabbages. So I might have room to go back that way with it. To be decided. But I really like the old ladders in my garden. What do you guys think? All in all, today was a great day for getting things taken care of in the garden. I'll be spending a lot more time in the next coming week or two. Same thing, cleaning things out, resetting things, getting my head kind of wrapped around the fact that things are going to start dying out, and I do need to start putting in new things that will be good for fall. Not getting worked up about it, just saying, hey, if it's not working, drag it out, use that valuable space for something else, and enjoy the things that are pretty. All right, you guys have a great day, and I will see you soon. Bye.